So today I'd like to talk a little bit about the pelvis and also about pleasure, the different aspects of pleasure and things to think about regarding pleasure. So the pelvis is a large part of the body that's responsible for a lot of movement and for a lot of function in the human body. And because of the way we stand, the way we sit, the way we walk, the things we carry, the way we bend over, the way we are in the car, our pelvis is not always taken care of. And so, what I just like to highlight today is just some of the important connections um, that the pelvis is part of. So it's the structural center, not only of a musculoskeletal system that supports your posture, your movement, your pelvic floor. It also is a center for reproductive and endocrine systems, isn't it? Menstrual cycles, hormones, uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries, vagina for those who have those. It's in natural childbirth, the center of that, and also where the digestion and excretory systems are, isn't it? For elimination, gut health, organ positioning. It supports your bladder and rectum and pelvic floor. Just a lot of stuff right there. Urination, bowel movements. And so, just today, what I'd like to highlight your attention and I'd like you to just feel into it for a moment. Is when you just notice, just for really briefly, your feet. Tapping them, just notice, just how do you want to notice them? Just like, okay. And just notice your hips a little bit, maybe tilting, rocking, feeling the sits bones, doing this in a small and subtle way or not. And notice your spine. Okay. So here's some key relationships. There's a key relationship between the jaw and the pelvis. Look at that. So jaw tension, TMJ, pelvic tension. So they often mirror each other in terms of tension, in terms of release. Release one, release the other. So just notice that for a second with your hands, like you can feel the bones at the base of your skull, and you can feel just like some hands around your hips and sacral bone, the triangle, maybe one down the front of the pubis area. It's like there's a connection there. You just see for a moment when you put one hand, one. It's even just highlighting the circuit of connection because you can feel one area in one hand and the other area in the other hand. Just noticing that. And that any imbalances here can affect pelvic stability, comfort, function. And midwives and doulas know well about this connection, about helping women with breathing, moaning and sighing, that it helps open the pelvis. Like maybe you can sense that even now. There's a breath and pelvis relationship. The diaphragm and the pelvic floor work together. They form in a coordinated rhythm, moving with each cycle. You inhale, the diaphragm lowers, pelvic floor expands and relaxes. When you exhale, the diaphragm rises and the pelvic floor gently engages. I like my teacher who said you breathe out. I forgot what it is. When you breathe in, it's like you pick up a little blueberry with the lips of your vulva. It's like maybe it sounds weird to some people, but I love it. So it's different than what they recommend you do in yoga. So that's why it's important because they do the Ula Bandha and all of this. Oh yeah, Mula Bandha. So restricted or shallow breathing, excuse me, it's late for me over here, can contribute to pelvic tension and reducing blood flow. leading to pain, decreased sensitivity. Holding your breath during sex can limit pelvic expansion. So, and even the things that we learn and are even taught still in where yoga worlds and sex overlap, it's still sometimes doing that. There's a postural and core interplay. So let's check that one out. Like when you have a lot of tension in the feet, hips, or back. See that for a minute. The feet, the hips, or the back. This can also contribute to pelvic discomfort or dysfunction. So flexing the hip flexors, pelvic mobility, increasing sensation. Overactive glutes can create pelvic floor tightness. So all those butt, wanting to get that butt bulb from those butt exercises at the gym, unless you have a natural round butt, like I guess I do, I've been told. Um, that can sort of take the pelvis out of balance if you're overusing some muscles, underusing other muscles. And pelvic physical therapists know this well, right? And now let's check out the feet and pelvis connection. The way that we stand, the way that we walk, the way that we distribute our weight. And let me just say, if you've ever had problems with your feet or foot pain or plantar fasciitis, or something, you acutely start to understand, oh my God, I need to put, the weight needs to be here. I need these shoes and lift my arches and roll from heel. It's like, wow. When I had that, I really saw how much it impacted the way I walked and how uncomfortable I was. And then your whole body starts to brace. So imagine how that impacts your neurological pathways. When the feet are strong, mobile, and well aligned, they provide a stable foundation for the pelvis and for the spine. And barefoot shoes, if you know about those, can help with this, or you can look it up if you don't know. So pelvic well-being requires a whole body well-being approach. So, many issues that are thought of as pelvic problems, pain during intimacy, incontinence, reduced sensation, are influenced by postural habits, nervous system regulation, or tension patterns. Look at that. And so we want to look at that when people are having pain. And wholeness can also be quality, quantity of sleep, diet, movement, and the way of moving the organism. Nonlinear movement, again, that way of letting your brain just have different ways so you can like release things instead of it just being, oh, I'm always doing this, I'm always doing this, I'm always doing this. And then your body doesn't have a chance to. And sometimes we can have an hypertonic pelvic floor. Look at this. Stress, trauma, anxiety, pulling in, everything pulling in. Pelvic muscles clenching, which leads to pain, tightness, difficulty with penetration. See? Hypotonic, weakened, disengaged pelvic muscles, reduced sensations, numbness, incontinence or prolapse. So there can be too much like not integrated looseness, and there can be too much rigidity clenching. See? And our experiences with sexual encounters, with medical procedures, with birth, with trauma can all shape how our nervous system perceives safety, pleasure, and connection. So, so what's important is breath awareness, somatic movement, grounding, orienting can help the body shift out of protective patterns and enter greater ease and pleasure. And I just want to share with you around cultural narratives, sexuality, pleasure, embodiment. There can be pelvic disconnection, numbness, avoidance due to societal or religious conditioning, body shame, or past trauma. There can be pelvic hyperawareness. Some people can become hyper focused on dysfunction, like the pain, the tension, the prolapse, the urgency to pee, the slight sensation while peeing, and this can make a loop and reinforce stress and discomfort. The pelvis and the self-perception. So changes in the pelvis through aging, hormonal shifts, and childbirth can affect one's sense of self and sensuality, how you feel about all of those parts of your body. The pelvis and our emotional landscape. So this is around sexual intimacy, birth, pregnancy, boundary violations, the pelvis is a center of creativity and awareness. Let's take a pause and see if there's any questions I should have done. Wow, somatic healing, gateway between seen and unseen. Okay, that feels like a lot. Thank you. I only did the pelvis here.